Hello there folks, today we're going to take a look at the game called Fallout, the board game. It's published by Fantasy Flight Games and the designers are Fischer and Hajek. So it's based on a popular video game IP, Fallout. It's a post-nuclear world where you have lots of radiation, not so many resources, and you're trying to survive. You are fighting enemies, there are different factions who are fighting with each other. Yeah, and you have your own adventure in this post-apocalyptic world. So let's take a look at how the game works. So let me show you the basics of the game. So here we have the map that you're going to explore. You will choose a scenario, and based on what scenario you choose, that's how you're going to build this world over here. And you have some of the special rules or whatever. And then you have two factions. So the thing is, if one of those factions reaches the end of this track, that faction will win, which means AI will win and you will all lose. And how you win, basically, if you get to 11 or 10 or 9 influence points based on the number of players, so these cards which give you influence points, then you will win as well. So it's a competitive game, but you're not gonna hurt each other except just getting quests done before the other player. So basically you choose this scenario and you start playing, get the setup done based on that, and you can do also sorts of different actions. By the way, this is the game mat where you track your equipment, your inventory, and then you have the health points. Your radiation is bad, so that means if you have more radiation, you have less health over there. Then you have these perk letters, whatever they are. You can gain XP, so you can get experience points to level up, to get more of them, or to get some one-time perks. You can get some of the items from the shop. For that you need to do an encounter in the settlements or the cities, and so on. You have those different enemies. But let's take a look. So you're gonna choose one of your adventures from those you have. For example, there's the Super Mutant, Wastelander, Brotherhood Outcasts, Ghoul, and World Dweller. You have those starting items or special starting setup things, or let's say the abilities. The Ghoul has maximum health of 12 instead of 16, but he doesn't suffer from the radiation spaces that are the green spaces outlined on those tiles over here, and he heals from the radiation spaces, for example. But there are some other items basically that you can wear. So that's that. And how you play the game. So you have different actions. You can do 2 actions on your turn, and you can do different sorts of actions. For example, you can explore. If you're next to the tile that is unexplored, you can turn it over and you explore it. Then you take a look. There are some enemies. You're gonna put the enemies out based on whatever the icon there is. There is also, I'm just gonna show you different locations. For example, here you have Raiders Camp. When you go to those locations, either to show the settlement or the city symbol, then you can encounter things there. So you can choose an encounter action. What that means, so basically the encounter action is if you are in one of those spaces, then you draw a card either from the city or the settlement deck. If you're an encounter of the city, then the player on your right takes the card and reads it. So you read the italic text. It's not a big spoiler here. So for example, you hear nothing but your own footsteps as you walk through the ruins. It's calm and quiet, so you can hack into an old register. You're gonna do some kind of a skill check or search for useful equipment. You can do another skill check. Sometimes there are no skill checks, you just choose. So the player to your right will read out these things in the white over here. He will not give you any success or fail conditions yet. So you choose, you do that. If you succeed or you fail, you either get something or get something bad, and so on. So there are also things like quests. And these are the quest cards, this is the stage cards. And based on scenario, you have the first stage card, like say, for example, there's the Welcome to the Commonwealth. You have some italic text over here, so some thematic text. And then you have those quests. And those quests give you opportunities. For example, you can kill any of the human or humanoids enemies over here. And then you can claim this quest. And then based on the quest, there are some bonuses. So first of all, the faction goes up, one of these 2 factions goes up, then you get some loot, and you can get out new quests, and then you're gonna trash this. Sometimes there is that asterisk in front of the quest requirement. That means that you need to do a quest action. Some of them don't have, so it means if you kill, then you can claim the quest. And with some of them, I need to go to the Diamond City to do a quest action. Diamond City is here. If I get here, I use one of my actions to do a quest action. I claim this card. So some of these cards give you this thumbs up, which means that you get the influence card. And you need that to get points. Each influence card gives you 1 point, plus extra points based on whatever the text is written here. Sometimes if you have 3 or more drug items or whatever, if this faction has advanced farther than the other faction, then you get some extra points and so on. You need to reach a certain amount of points, as I told you at the beginning. So, and you go through different quests, and eventually you will also do the encounters, and you will move. You have 2 movement points to spend if you choose the movement action. And that means that you can also move with one of your movement points, then do another action, then move with another of your movement points. Something like that. And also what else you can do, you can fight. So when you fight enemies, you have those stats. So the enemy, for example, here is a level 3 enemy. You can hit it in head only, and he gives you loot or does something bad, or it's aggressive or whatever. So there are different icons for that as well. You're gonna just take a look at the rulebook. But when you fight it, you use the dice over here. You roll those dice. So all the pips, the asterisks on the dice are the hits the monster gonna inflict on you based on its level. So if it's a level 3, then each hit hits you for 3 HP, which means right now I would lose 6. The marked area over here means that I'm gonna aim for that marked area. So in order to kill the Super Mutant Overlord, I need to hit it in the head. So right now my roll isn't the best one. But I can reroll some things sometimes. First of all, if I'm well rested, I'm going to talk about it in a moment, or I have some of the items. For example, let's just take a look at these. For example, I have the plasma gun. It shows some of the letters over here. And I also have these letters right over here because I gained them at the beginning, and if I level up, I can get more of them. For each letter that I have that matches the letter on my gun, if I have it, I can do a reroll. And if I do a reroll, just reroll any of the dice and try to get better results. And that's basically it. And there are other items, like for example, we have Sing's Duster, which gives you armor, or there are also companions. So when you unexhaust companions, you have to fulfill their conditions in order to keep them and so on. I'm not gonna go into too many details, and some one-time use items as well and so on. So you can keep only maximum of 3 items in your equipment, and then you can in your inventory, and then you can have equipment of 1 clothes, 1 hand, and 1 companion as well. So you can get those either if you encounter a shop, then you can buy those from the shop, or you get them for free. For example, if you get the loot, for example, from enemies or any other encounters, you will draw from the loot deck, and there are also those different items that you can get. Basically also guns and different one-time use abilities and so on, and some companions and some free caps. So you use your caps to buy things, and you can sell as well. So this is basically how the game is played. So also, by the way, when you kill an enemy, based on its level, if you kill it before it kills you, of course, then you will get XP based on its level. So we get 3. So what that means, I have those pegs over here. So I will go to the nearest letter that I have. 1, 2, and then if I get back to the beginning, I level up. That means I draw one of these tokens over here, which is also letters. So when I get these tokens, and it's perfect for example, I can take a new letter if I don't have that yet. But the leveling up for the next thing will be harder, but I have more different of those tokens. For example, some of the encounters also specify those same letters when I do the tests, basically I need to get the hits on those tests, and for those letters that match mine on the game mat, I can do rerolls for them, which is also good. But if I take a letter, and I can choose, if I take a letter that I already have, instead of that letter, I put it away, I can take one of the perk cards which matches the letters. So if I wanted to get L, I will take a look at these two L's, whatever where they are, whatever, let's say just one of these L's. These are powerful one-time abilities that I can use. Yeah, these cards become the death itself until the end of your turn, perform one additional action after each fight in which you kill an enemy. So that's that, and you have all those different perks over here based on the letters as well. So this is a very basic overview of this game. There are many more things that are going on, and I'm not gonna spoil any of the story elements for you over here, but that's how basically this game is played. And I'm sorry that I forgot to mention about the camp action. Camp action basically restores your health and unexhausts some of your items, and also it gives you one of those tokens over here. I don't have, the well-rested token, for example. With a well-rested token, you can do one free reroll. Sometimes you get other conditions like addicted if you use the drug items, or you become a super mutant, or you become a synth, or you become vilified, and that also influences your encounters sometimes, and so on. These are the different conditions that you get. So let's start with the components and artwork. It's top-notch. I mean, it's Fantasy Flight Games, so it has the quality products, the components themselves, the quality of the product, but also the artwork is great, the on the box, and everything is clear, the iconography is clear, and reminds me of Fallout, the video game as well, so it has that theme in the art. And also there are two rule books. There's Learn to Play and the rules reference, and it helps a lot. It's a well-structured system that they have. So I give it 5 out of 5. Now let's go to the theme. Now, if you are a Fallout fan and you know the video game, you have played the video game, you have played the newest one, this is the 4th one, and so on, so then you kind of feel the theme better, in my opinion. I played with I played with everyone who played the Fallout, but I felt like if I wouldn't know that world that well through the video game, I wouldn't be that enamored with the theme, because there are some abstract spots in it as well. But still, it's my review, so it's my opinion. For me, the theme works. But yeah, it's better if you know the IP, if you like the IP. So I give 4 out of 5 for the theme. Let's go to the mechanics. The biggest thing here. Now, first of all, there's a lot of luck in this game, and I'm fine with that. But on the other hand, the game doesn't give you enough, in my opinion, to kind of build up to become really strong, really cool, so you feel like you have progressed somewhere. The XP and the leveling is nice. You get those letters that you can use as rerolls. But I mean, if there would be kind of a tech tree or something better, or like say when you level up, you just get those letters that you can use if you match the letters on the cards or on the weapons, so you can re-roll. That's the only thing, and that's so abstract, that's so out of theme, in my opinion. The perks that you get are cool, but you get 2 perks per letter. There aren't enough perks, in my opinion. There should be more variety of perks as well. Maybe it should be based only on perks, those letters and things, and maybe those rerolls should be based on something else. Because, now let me tell you, if you try to get the resources, you're trying to get the loot, the items, sometimes you get unlucky, you lose in a fight, you lose there, and so on, you lose health, you die eventually. There's the mechanic I can tell you in the overview, is that when you die, you're not actually eliminated from the game. You start from the Crossroads camp, from the first tile again, but without your inventory, so you get some things, but your radiation stays. So if your radiation reaches your maximum health, then you are eliminated. But it's a really, I don't know if somebody would do that, getting your radiation to the maximum. But it's kind of if you lose some of your items, and it's so hard to get those items, in my opinion. Yes, there are encounters that give you ability to shop. All right, so you go shopping, but where do you get the money? In order to get the money, you either get something, for example, you get the loot items and then you sell them with the shop action, and then you sell them and you buy something instead, or you get the caps from the encounters. But sometimes you get unlucky with those encounters as well, so you get the skill check for the encounter and you are unlucky and you didn't have many choices or something like that. You only had one roll. You didn't have those reroll options for that. I mean, it's and then I one of my games, I really got stuck because I kind of had those letters, but the encounters I got didn't match the letters of what I had, so I didn't have many rerolls. So basically, I couldn't get loot or extra or caps or whatever from those encounters or some extra items or XP. So I tried to go for enemies. So I tried to fight enemies, but I didn't have the loot or the weapons or the items to protect myself or kill with. I wasn't strong enough. So I didn't get there. I died. I lost lots of help. I had to do the camp action and so on. So eventually it all evolves around if I cannot get out of this circle of unluck in events or at least get more items throughout the game, then I might be like gone from the game. So the other player was making those quests, because some of the quests when the quest furthers, then the new quest cards come out, then they appear somewhere, for example, so you can do that or that. And he was lucky with things like there's the enemy that needs to kill, and that enemy appears next to him. All right, let it be. All right, it's a lock, let it be. Then there's that the other quest says you need to do a quest action in that city or whatever, that settlement, and he's near that settlement because yeah, he got lucky, he got there, and I was in the other side. Yeah, that's that. So there's a lot of luck that kind of cuts you some players off the game. And I'm playing the game, and I can kind of come back, but it's a race to the points. So if you get a certain amount of points, you win the game. And if I try to do something and I'm a little bit unlucky and I don't get enough items, then I'm stuck. Then I feel like I'm just doing my actions. Basically, instead of just having a great adventure and building up your character, which is a Fallout 4 as well, which is a Fallout as video game. You build up your character, you get those cool weapons and better armor. It's all about like RPG thing. You get better and better and better and better. Here you don't feel that at all. Here you get some items, but you can get rid of those items at some point, and then you don't feel like you get better over the course of the game, and the game lasts a long time. And that's my main concern. It doesn't evolve, where the player doesn't evolve with the game, and the game doesn't really evolve as well, except if you explore everything, you have more options. Yeah, but that's the big concern for me. And there are some small things, like for example, some of the I feel like some characters are preferable for some scenarios than the other characters. So I don't know about that. I don't know how well are the different characters balanced with each other, because I feel like having a weapon is crucial. If somebody starts with a weapon and somebody starts with something else, especially yeah, you don't, as a ghoul, you don't get radiation and you heal from the radiation. It's not as cool as ability as it sounds at first. So overly, the XP system, it's nice idea, but it's not as cool as it would have been with kind of a better tech tree or something like that. Yeah, and lots of luck, which is fine for me, but it can cut you off the game. And yeah, I don't know what to say else about that. And it's a big issue for me that there is not enough for you to build up your character. I babbled about that for a long time right now already. So there are some cool things about the game as well. So I give it 2.5 out of 5. So let's go to replayability. Now, there are lots of those story cards, which is great. It adds to replayability, really. Those encounters and such. At first, you don't have that many encounters, but you add more, and you kind of go through the story, and there are different scenarios, but there aren't that many. There are 4 scenarios only. One of them is the Far Harbor, which I didn't get it. I mean, with that fog thing, I just didn't get it. I mean, it's easier to just follow the enemies on the board with spatial tokens. That's it. But there's only 4 scenarios. Really, I mean, there should have been more. This game cost $60, and they couldn't come up with more than 4 scenarios. That's weird, because they wanted to probably, they're publishing the expansion New California, so they're going to give you more scenarios in the new expansion. Of course, let's get more money from the expansions. Why should we put more and better content in the base game? Why? So the people could spend more money, of course. But yeah, there's not enough scenarios in my opinion. Though there are lots of replayability within the game, within the scenario itself, but I still feel like I wanted to have more options, kinda, you know? Because each scenario will start with the same stage card, with the same kind of there's the same beginning for each scenario, and kind of progressions are also kind of the same. They can be a little bit different and depend based on your encounters and so on as well. But yeah, I wanted more scenarios, so I give it 4 out of 5 for replayability. Let's go to scale. Though this game plays fine with more players, the turns until your turn comes up to you, it takes longer time, which sometimes feels a little bit disturbing, because maybe your turn is easy one. You do 2 movements, you camp, that's it. You're done. You didn't do anything that much, you know. You didn't do the encounter where somebody reads, and that's lots of fun, and so on. So, yeah, I mean, the scale is fine, but I would prefer to play it with maybe 2 players, because I haven't played solo. I don't play games solo. But 2 players, because then the turns come back to you quickly. And eventually in this game, you're trying to get to the certain points, and you are not fighting with each other. You don't have any mechanics to fight with each other, except just grabbing quests in front of each other. So basically, if you do the quest first, then it's your quest, it's your points. That's the only interaction. So with the scale, I give it 3 points out of 5, because I don't think it's the best at I mean it's good with 2, maybe it's good with 1, but I don't feel it's good with 3 or 4, because the turns get too long. So, my final thoughts. This game gets 18.5 out of 25. It will get a bronze Würfel medal. There are quite a few cool things about the game. So it's adventurous, and if you like the Fallout, you will like the whole theming. And I like the idea of the XP system. I like the idea of the inventory and then what you equip. And it's kind of cool that you get those rerolls from the letters, but it's still also uninspiring if you don't get the right letters or something like that. If you don't get enough equipment and so on, so it can get really frustrating. So this game can be a great session or a bad session. And I had kind of cool session evolving into bad session, because as the game progressed, at first it was really cool. You're discovering and you're doing all the stuff in the quests and so on, and eventually the game drags and drags on. If the players will not do the quests, the game will continue endlessly, and that means the players need to do the quest. I would have loved to have some kind of a different endgame condition. So we tried the scoring variant, which was on BGG, and it's a much better variant, because eventually the game will end and then you count points. Whoever has the most points is the winner. Because this is basically like a solitaire multiplayer game, because yes, there are common quests and you do the quest before me, you get those points. But we don't really, there isn't any interaction really between us players. And I felt like it should have been a cooperative game rather than a competitive game, something like that. I don't know, it just, maybe it feels like a solo game. Maybe it's great as a solo, I don't know. So I kind of recommend, if you want to try it out, $60, no. If you get it for like $40, $35, it might be worth it, because you can get great plays out of it if you play it quickly though. If it starts dragging out, then it becomes a nuisance, because if as I told you, you don't evolve enough in the game. There aren't enough things to get you more items, and sometimes you get unlucky as well, so you stay as you are, and that's uninspiring. So these are my different sections and opinions on this game. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All the links, all the accounts are in the description below. And we'll see you another time. Thank you. Bye-bye. This channel is sponsored by Osprey Games. Check them out at ospreypublishing.com.